I can't believe in 2 days I will be in Portugal. I leave Friday at like 4 something. So I'm leaving here just after lunch, maybe just before lunch because I need I'll eat. I'll eat at like a mid-morning brunch and then I'll head straight to the airport with my stuff and I will fly to Portugal. Oh my God. I'm so excited. So I'm super excited. And it is currently very cold and dreary in London. It's like hovering around 3 degrees and it hasn't really been all that sunny lately. There was I did manage to get out pretty much any time that there has been sun. I have managed to see it, which has been spectacular. I've made the most of my last week here by really like going out and seeing things that I wanted to see but hadn't really seen. And a lot of those things were actually just like by happenstance. You know, like I didn't intend on seeing a lot of the things that I did, but I just ended up doing it based off of other things. So like I went to see the Queen's house in Greenwich because I went to a coffee meetup, a queer coffee meetup that I was going to monthly, and then I hadn't in the last few months because I moved across the city, so it was no longer as convenient as it was before. But I went, and then I was kind of hungry because it was getting on lunchtime, and I felt like going for a walk, so I went and walked and got some food, and then I kept walking, and then I found myself in Greenwich. And then I thought, you know what? I hadn't actually seen the house yet. So I went to see the Queen's house and I love it. I definitely want my own so that I can host incredible, extravagant parties in that great hall and have sort of labyrinthian rooms set up and beautiful balconies. You know, it was really wonderful. And it wasn't even that big of a house. It just was really nice and really well laid out, I think. Though I'm not sure where the kitchen would have been. I don't know, downstairs somewhere, I guess. So that was very cool. And then I also went to deliver a bunch of my things. I had a bunch of things that I wanted to donate because I don't need them anymore. And also arguably never needed them. But but I decided to go and volunteer or donate them. And there had been someone in one of the groups that I'm in had mentioned that there was a give and take. So in the mornings, you would give whatever things you want to donate. And then in the afternoons, people would come and then would take what they want. So I went to the give section of the day. And it just so happened that this was at a church that is right in the middle of the Barbican, that sort of area. And I hadn't really gone in and explored the Barbican at all yet. I had passed by it once or twice, and it just, from the outside, if you don't have a reason to go in, it feels very imposing. It feels like you shouldn't go. You know, the way that it's architecturally set up, it doesn't feel inviting at all. Like it doesn't feel like you should be in there. But if you go and you wander in because you know that you have to, then there's this massive courtyard, and there's to the side there's like a pool area with some like landscaping details that I'm sure will be beautiful in the spring/summer. And there's the Barbican Center, which is like this large brutalist style architecture building, and they have a few stages in there, so they do concerts. They also show movies. There's theater performances. There's a library in there. There's sometimes like art exhibits, and I think there's like a large greenhouse as well. So it was all very very beautiful, and I just really like the aesthetic vibe of the Barbican Center. But then there's also on the other side, there's ruins of London Wall, and the the church that I donated my things to was actually very old. I don't know when it was put up, but it was yeah, it's very beautiful. So I wandered around there, and I hadn't expected ever ever going there. And well, I mean, I thought that I would visit it at some point, but I didn't really realize that that's where I was going that day, and that's what would await me. But I think this, I already talked about this last week. So this week I went to the Queen's Palace, and then I also went to, I wanted to go check out London Stone, because I had watched a video about London Stone and how this has been in London potentially as long as London has existed. There, theoretically, it was brought over by the Romans and placed in London when it was founded. And I think there's been some sort of like mystique around it, as if, like, you know, if the stone falls or is completely broken or whatever is removed, then London will fall. And you know, that's very dramatic, and I don't know how true that might be, but I do think that stones, that rocks, carry an energy, and that bringing that to a place where you want to found a city, I can see that being sort of like a very important symbolic thing to do, as well as like there is a certain sort of like energetic field attached to that. And humans being very electromagnetic beings, we're sensitive to that on some level, even though it, you know, it may not be huge, but it, you know, I think it's there. And over time it's been bombed, and only a small piece of it remains. So I wanted to see it. I wanted to see if there was a sense for it. And I went there and I didn't feel anything. But I saw it. It was behind glass. Maybe that's why I didn't feel anything, because it's behind glass. But I kind of thought that I would feel something, and I didn't feel anything. So that was interesting. And then while I was there, it was around sunset, so I watched the beautiful sunset. I went over to London Bridge and watched the sunset from the bridge, which is always beautiful. Any of the bridges, it's wonderful. And then I came back over, checked out the monument a little bit more than I ever really had. I had checked it out before, but not really. I hadn't read the plaque. And I also hadn't realized that there's stairs that go up, and you can, if you want to pay £6, you can go all the way up. I mean, it's kind of surrounded by tall buildings, so I don't think you would actually see that much. So it doesn't seem worth it. It seems like that should be free. just saying. I don't think you should have to pay to go up a whole bunch of stairs to see almost nothing. But anyway, so I didn't pay to go up. So then I went over to St. Paul's Cathedral, which I had been to many times to the outside, or maybe not many times, but a few times. And I thought, you know what, maybe I'll go inside. And it just so happened that they were doing like a choral activity, I don't know, by the end of the day, on most, if not all days, at the time that I was there, which is around sunset, around 5 p.m. They were doing like hymns and things. So I walk into the cathedral, and it's, you know, it's a cathedral. It's spectacular. It's beautiful. It's this large open space, really like awe-inspiring aesthetically. And then there was also like all the singing. So that was really beautiful. And then yesterday I finally went to the National Gallery, and around the corner to the National Portrait Gallery. And again, these are architecturally stunning buildings. Honestly, I think I was more in love with the architecture than I was with the art inside of it. But I mean, like, architecture is an art, absolutely. But what I did really find interesting was that I just happened to be there on the one day a month at exactly the right time to catch something that I had no idea was happening, which was a lecture. Well, lecture. It was an audio description of a painting, and it was precipitated by a pair of musicians who played a song that they composed inspired by the painting. And it was absolutely gorgeous. There's a cellist and a piano player. And in that space, it was absolutely beautiful. And then the description of the painting was also interesting and made me much more engaged with it than I otherwise would have been. So now I'm thinking, if I go to these art galleries, I should probably like take the time and like do the audio tour, if one is available. But yeah, other than that, I need to do some laundry. I still need to get to donate some more things, and make sure that the things that I'm keeping I can keep. But yeah, I'm nearly there, nearly ready to go. So next time I see you, next time I check in, I will be in Portugal. So I'll see you there. Bye.